and gentlemen, and welcome to Frankly Speaking Bucs on this unbelievable Wednesday night. We got so many great things going on in the Tampa Bay area. And, let's go ahead and start right off with our Tampa Bay Rays leading the New York Yankees. It looks like it's the bottom of the fifth inning. We're up 5-1. Kiermaier and Arizarena hit a home run, a 3-run home by Kiermaier, a solo shot by Arizarena. And I'll tell you what, the other night I'm on the phone, and before we get into the Buccaneer stuff, I got this Yankee fan after the game I haven't seen in 35 years. He texts me, "Oh, you guys are losers. You're going to lose." Last night we come back, we win, we show power. Tonight we're showing our bats and power. Morton's looking great. We're winning 5-1. We're about to go up 2-1 in the series, and I still haven't texted him yet. I'm just going to let it sink in for all those New York fans that all they know how to do is whine and cry about it's always somebody's fault that they're losing. Well, right now, our Tampa Bay Rays are kicking your butts 5-1 in the bottom of the fifth, and Morton looked great. Just a tremendous job. And I'm seeing right now, it looks like he's still on. He's only thrown 74 pitches in the bottom of the fifth inning. So great job by your Tampa Bay Rays. Hope everybody liked our introduction to the show. And boy, did we have a great show in store for you tonight. Just an incredible show. In about 10 minutes, we're going to have Vernon Turner on, and we're going to show you a couple different clips about Vernon in a couple of minutes. But before we get into his story and the incredible life story that he had to go through just to make it to the NFL, we'll talk briefly about the actual Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Chargers as I see our background here. Let's see if I could was trying to change a little colors over there on the background, but we'll do that another time. We'll leave it green for today in honor of our USF fans from last night. But just a great game by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this past weekend. Tom Brady, after everybody's crying for his head after that pick six that he threw in the first quarter of last game, comes back, throws 5 beautiful touchdown passes. 5 different receivers get a touchdown catch. 9 different receivers catch the ball. We show we can catch the ball out of the backfield. Just a great game overall by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And, pretty much all around. You can look at it and you can pick different parts of this game if you want to. We can talk about some penalties and this and that about what we didn't do well. But overall, we won this ball game. We are 3-1 going into the middle of October on a Thursday night game tomorrow versus the Chicago Bears. The defense looks great. And some people will say yes, but the passing defense, Justin Herbert threw almost 300 yards. You got to remember, Todd Bowles is throwing several different blitz packages at this young kid, Justin Herbert, last game. And it's do or die when you blitz. We had Ricky Reynolds on Monday. He talked about the do or die. You either get the quarterback or you got that potential of giving up a good big play. And, you're going to sometimes give up big plays if you don't get to the quarterback. And that's what they did. But I love the way Mike Evans played. A lot of people are complaining about his penalty when he went ahead and got an unsportsmanlike conduct. Mike is a very difficult player. A very emotional player, and he's going to do silly things like that. But we just got to tame that a little bit. But overall, what a game, what an effort, playing injured. And it looks like Mike Evans will play. So far for you Buck fans, and we'll get into tomorrow's game in a minute. But before we go over the injury report, I do want to tell you that, let's not forget the offensive line. All year we're beating up the offensive line. We're talking about how bad Donovan Smith is. Let's give credit where credit is due. Wirfs had a couple of penalties. He's a youngster, but, at the end of the day, this was a great, great game, and we need to start giving kudos to our offensive line. As I read some messages, a couple people are asking right now about, as we go to the message line, Eric, what do you think about, and it goes on to say about Vaughn, and then another one here by another user. Let's see if we can get that one in. There we go. What do you think about Vaughn? And I'll tell you what, we got to see a little bit, but when you look at Vaughn, Deshaun Vaughn, he looked very, very, very comfortable playing in this game. And, and he looked comfortable. Brady has a way of making people feel comfortable in this offense. And I was really impressed. But, when you look at this team and you talk about Tom Brady and how great Tom Brady is, let's listen to what Michael Evans had to say in his post-game comments. All right, I'm sorry as I get that hooked up, folks. Stay with me a minute. There we go.
Mike, congrats on the win. Just talk us through your day-to-day, having to deal with that ankle injury from the first quarter and just being as productive as you were and fighting through that.
It's my job. I get paid to play football, and if I'm eligible to be out there, then I'm going to be out there. My team needed me. Went to the back, trainer taped me up, my boy Bobby, and got me right. Came back out, played.
What can you say about Tom Brady with 5 touchdown passes today, leading you guys to the comeback?
I mean, we all know, his track record and his resume speaks for itself. I mean, we need him to play like that, week in, week out, if we want to be the special team that we're capable of being. And we have the utmost confidence in Tom, and he had a hell of a game today.
Next question will come from Greg Allman.
Hey, Mike, when you guys are down 24-7, just want to ask about what that fumble and what that touchdown right before halftime did, just to get you guys back in the game and make it feel closer at the half.
The defense has been making plays all year. I was a bit surprised that they didn't just take a knee. I think it was like 50-some seconds left. I thought they were going to take a knee. It was 24-7. They had a great first half, and, they made a mistake. And we capitalized on it, got a touchdown, and had momentum going into the second half, and we ran with it.
Mike, can you just talk about the number of guys that got involved today? Obviously, some injuries all over. 5 different guys caught touchdowns. Just the depth of who Tom has to throw to.
Yeah, man, we've been plagued by injuries. A lot of teams in the league have been plagued by these injuries. Obviously, we just got to keep fighting. We have a lot of playmakers, and that's a good thing. We don't want our guys to get hurt, but we do have a lot of playmakers to fill in. So they did a great job of stepping up, and we're going to need everybody that we can have to make plays come Thursday.
Next question come from John Wayne.
Hey, Mike, the explosive starts that you guys have gotten off to, how frustrating was it for you guys to be down at the half?
I mean, it's football. Nothing's going to be perfect. We obviously want to be up 35-0 if we can in the first half, so we can coast in the second and just have get an easy win. But it's not like that. This is the NFL, and you're playing the best game in, game out. And the touchdown before the half obviously gave us momentum, but we weren't down at all. We knew that we could come back and beat this team. Just need to make more plays, and we did that.
Yeah, touchdown before the half, 38 seconds left was huge. What was the dialogue like with you guys at halftime? What did you guys say to one another to get yourselves where you needed to be, especially considering that second half you guys have struggled a little bit, moving the ball and scoring the last 2 games?
Yeah, I mean, at halftime, I went to the back to get an IV, so I'm sure the guys were saying, just keep fighting, keep playing, and things are going to turn our way. And they did. I knew in the back of my mind that, we were getting what we wanted on offense, just didn't make plays that we could have made. And then the second half, we made more plays.
Next question will be from Rick Stroud.
Mike, you guys had so many guys hurt. You were in and out. I mean, is this just the character of this team? And with Brady, do you just feel like you're never going to be out of it?
Yeah, absolutely. And then if you add in the guys that we have, at the skill position, our defense, our line, we're never. We always think that we have a chance, and we're always going to be confident with the guys that we have on the team.
All right, that was Michael Evans, wide receiver. Unbelievable streak he has going on. Last 5 games, he's caught a touchdown pass. And we're about 3 minutes away from having former special team return specialist Vernon Turner on with us. And after that interview, we're going to go ahead and we're going to break down the Chicago Bears versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers tomorrow night in Chicago. But a lot of you do not know, and we'll talk more about some of the comments that we have plenty of comments being left about tomorrow's game, how the offense is going to do, how the defense is going to do. But, we got a remarkable story coming up, and we're about 3 minutes away from having Vernon on with us. And we're going to let him tell his incredible, incredible story. But as far as this past weekend went, that game is over. We won. We came back. We showed we can come back. Builds a lot of confidence. We want to start putting our focus towards tomorrow night's game versus the Chicago Bears, which is a team we should definitely beat. And that's what we're going to do after we have this unbelievable interview with Vernon Turner coming up. For those of you that do not know much about Vernon Turner, we're going to do about a 3-minute clip into his life and a little intro before we get this incredible, incredible young man on the phone. So let me go ahead for those of you people that, do not know. Vernon Turner was with the Buccaneers in the 90s. Just an unbelievable. He was a wide receiver. He was a return specialist, and he has the first punt return ever for a touchdown in Buccaneer history. Let's go ahead and watch the clip before we get Vernon on.
Mark Twain said, 2 most important moments in a person's life. One is when you're born. The other one is when you find out why.
Originally from Bedford-Stuyvesant, Brooklyn. It's predominantly African American. It was a total of 5 of us. I'm the oldest. My mom was just full of life. I mean, a smile that would light up a room, but she was hardly ever there. She was using drugs and she was out there prostituting. I was cooking dinners, changing diapers, braiding hair, caregiving. I can remember driving in the neighborhood, trees and grass, but I didn't see one black face. One day, I come home from school and I rushed to go to the restroom and I opened up the door and my mom's sitting there and she's shooting drugs in her arm. And I just stared at her. I'm like, what are you doing? She says, this is gonna kill me and I don't ever want you to do this. I said, Mom, if you know it's gonna kill you, why are you doing it? And she said, it makes the pain go away. And then she proceeded maybe 5 seconds later to tell me she was 18 years old. 2 guys grabbed her, covered her mouth, and they gang raped her. I'm a product of that horrific moment. I was a constant living, walking, talking reminder. I was really, really scared. I was upset with my mom, and my stepdad introduced me to the game of football. He was a diehard Jets fan. And I tell you what, that was one day that changed my life. I wanted to play that game. I realized that there was something about football that gave me an opportunity to unleash frustration, and unleash being unhappy about things, what's going on at home. I was always the smallest kid, but it didn't matter. I just loved this game. I was 15 years old. I woke up and I went through my normal routine. I went in the room to wake my mom up and I couldn't wake her up. I kept shaking her and I couldn't wake her up. I made a promise to my mother that I was going to keep my family together. I had a athletic scholarship to Carson College. I woke up the next day and I said, I got to turn pro. I wasn't a great athlete. I had no business playing in the National Football League,
But if I didn't pull this off, my family was gone. So I gave it everything I had. Every practice, every play, I gave it. I was ready to die on the football field. And anyone who came up against me was not ready to die. I was beating them. And I kept that mentality, and I played in the National Football League for 6 years. The reason why I was so resilient and determined is because I knew that I had to do this for my family. When you don't have an option, when it's totally taken away from you forever, you go to option B and you kick that ass with everything you have.
And what a remarkable story. And we're about to have Vernon on. I know he was on a second ago. I'm not sure what happened, if his feed fell off. So we're trying to get Vernon back on with us. So hopefully Vernon will be on in a second with us. So we'll give it a couple of seconds and hopefully get Vernon back on with us. But while we're waiting for Vernon, there he is. He's texting me, I think. So we'll see if we can get it. There he is. Okay. So let's go ahead and get Vernon on with us. Just an incredible story. And let's see. There he is. Vernon, how you doing tonight, my friend?
Hey, Larry, how you doing, buddy? Thanks for having me.
Oh, you know what? First of all, I want to thank you very much for coming on tonight. I know, just an incredible story of, just not your football, career, but your entire life has just been an incredible story, and definitely, shown about persevering and everything. And, I want to know, because I see now there's a movie going to be made out. I just seen recently, I believe it's called Relentless. I know you sent me a unbelievable clip last night, that letter to me when I was 15, which was a 30-minute letter that I listened to. Whoops. All right. Are you there?
I'm there, Larry.
Okay, I don't know what happened. Something clicked off there. But anyway, just an incredible story. Let me ask you, what was it that made you come out and decide to want to tell your story?
Hey, Larry, you're breaking up, buddy. Can you repeat that?
Yep. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. It sounds good now.
Just a little delay, I guess. But what was it that all of a sudden, after all these years, made you want to come out and tell your story?
Yeah, goodness. I guess it all started back in 1994 when I was with the Buccaneers. And a reporter interviewed me during training camp, Dan Brady. And he just started talking about, how I got started. And that was probably the first time I ever opened up about my life. And I shared with him some things that I had to go through, my family. And his jaw dropped because he could not believe what I went through. And what people don't understand is I had no business playing professional anything. I wasn't that good of a football player. I really wasn't. It was my circumstances. It's amazing what you can pull off when your back is up against the wall and you feel like it's life or death. It's amazing the things that you can pull off. And as I was sharing with Dan Brady, I told him, I said, look, when I'm retired and I'm bored as heck, I'm going to write a book about my life, and it's going to be a bestseller. It wasn't exactly a bestseller, but it's most likely going to hit the big screen probably in 2021. So I'm very fortunate and blessed because I know there's a lot of lessons learned throughout my journey that can help the next person. So that's my driving force, actually. I found my purpose is using my platform, using my journey just to help other people.
And I'm listening to this letter that you wrote, and minute by minute, I'm just waiting for the next thing that you're going to say, because it was just so incredible, and I'm one of those guys, I don't like to read. Okay. I can listen, I can watch. And you just had me from the first second of that video or audio that you sent me last night till the end. And I want to ask you, when you went through a lot of different things at a young age, and then you found out that your mother was into drugs and that she was raped, and as a result of the rape, you were born, and things like that. And there's a lot of people we know, and I'm sure you will say the same thing, that have gone through that situation before. But how did you at first feel when you heard the news that your mother was raped, that you were a result of the rape? And how are you using that now to help other people who have gone through the same thing?
Well, Larry, for decades, I felt like trash. I felt like garbage, actually. I felt guilty because prior to me finding out, my mom would look at me. She would look through me. It's like with cold eyes. She just looked through me. And it was difficult because I didn't know what the heck was going on. I just didn't think my mom liked me, until I found out exactly what happened to her. And I realized that very second that I was a walking, talking, breathing reminder of what happened to her when she was 18 years old. And I felt guilty. I felt like trash for many years. Actually, I selected football because I could hide behind the helmet. No one could look at me. And I always never took my helmet off on the sidelines. Always kept it on because I was hiding all the time. And but football allowed me to get out that shell and look at myself more than just trash the way I was looking at myself. So it took many decades. I mean, it took up to last 5 to 10 years that I realized that I'm here for a reason. I'm here for a purpose. And that's the reason why I wrote a second book that's going to be released in 2021 called Beyond the Limits, Finding My Purpose. And I found my purpose to be on this earth because for so many years, Larry, I didn't know why the hell I was here. Why did God allow my mom to go through what she went through to get me here and keep me here? And for me, it's just to pay this thing forward and pass it on,
And when you look at it from everything that you say about your mom, and that I hear you say and speak about your mom, is she was a very loving lady. I mean, family was very, very important to your mother. Obviously, she kept you, which is an amazing thing in general to show that shows love right there. But even more, throughout your letter to yourself, you constantly tell how your mother talks about, if anything ever happens to me, make sure you take care of family. So the one thing that you can't take away from your mother is the love she had for family.
Well, I tell you what, Larry, that lady is probably one of the strongest women, strongest human beings I have ever had the honor and pleasure and blessed to come into my life. The strength that she showed to keep me under those circumstances, I can't even imagine the strength that it took for her to keep me under those circumstances. And that's how come I'm leaving this earth with a broken heart, because I didn't do right by my mom. I didn't, I wished her dead. 72 hours later, she was gone. And I sat there at the grave and I apologized to her and I told her I didn't mean it. But I'm broken. But I still have a purpose, and that is to pay this thing forward and make sure no one goes through what I'm going through right now. So I'm very blessed. I'm very fortunate, very lucky. Like I said, I had no business playing professional or anything. And if it wasn't for the promise I made to my mom to keep my brothers and sisters together when she passed, and then my stepdad passed away, and it was just, my aunt that was staying at my home, and she called me one day and said that she couldn't do it anymore. And right away I said, what is the one thing that I know that I can put my heart and soul into, and I would die while doing it? And the only thing that I thought about was football. And I promise you, Larry, I wasn't that good of a football player. I wasn't. But if the person that was in front of me wasn't ready to die, it was a wrap. I had him. So it was an amazing journey.
And I don't care what type of or what kind of football player you thought you are. You definitely were and are an amazing person, Vernon. I have to say that. But you talked about your stepfather briefly. How much did he play a role in you getting involved in football?
Well, you talking about a person that has unconditional love. My mom and my dad's story, I don't even like calling him my stepdad. That's my dad. What an amazing love story that is. Unbelievable love story. And hopefully in the film, you will see how amazing that man was. I didn't realize it until many years later. That man only had 2.5 years of knowing that I loved him. And I'm broken for that as well, because I kept my distance. I didn't know why they were arguing and fighting all those years. And come to find out, he was just trying to get her off the drugs and try to get her healthy. And that man had unconditional love for all of us. And in fact, he was a diehard Jets fan. And he used to go to the games all the time, and I used to turn him down. And it was my mom that made me go. And that was the day that changed my life, because it was a preseason games with the Chicago Bears. And I saw this guy play, and he changed my life. And that is Walter Payton. Wrote him a letter. I'm fast forwarding to college, wrote him a letter. And I received a letter back. And he gave me his training regimen. And that was a huge contributing factor of me preparing myself for the National Football League at the highest level. So he was pivotal. My dad was, it was him at age 12, 13 that got me to fall in love with the game of football.
And when your dad finally did pass away while you were in college, that would have been a point where many people might have said, okay, I've had enough. I need to go back home, gather my thoughts and do things. And you had that will to say no. The family is the most important thing. Just like my mother told me when she was alive, that it's always family. And really, you were taking someone now that many people told you, Vernon, and I know they told you, that you never had a prayer and of making it to the NFL, and you wouldn't listen. You would not listen. It was family. And you said, no matter what, I am going to make it, and kept driving and driving and driving. And once your pops had passed away, you even drove more, because you knew that was going to be a way that you could take care of your family.
Well, what was crazy, Larry, is the fact that until my dad passed away, I'm going to be honest with you, I had no aspirations to play at the highest level, because I truly, in my mind and in my heart, I truly felt that I wasn't good enough to play. I really didn't. It wasn't until my dad passed away and my aunt called me to tell me that she was financially and emotionally drained, that she could not do it anymore. It wasn't until that time that I went in desperation mode on what was I going to do. I sold all my electronic goods. I was cutting hair just to send money home, but it wasn't enough. I knew I was on a clock, a very short clock, and I had to make a decision here. And I tell you, when I made that decision, it wasn't a matter of if. I called my high school football coach, who's one of my mentors, and when I made the decision, I said, I'm going to turn pro. And he didn't even hesitate. He says, okay, V, let's get you an agent. And what was funny was that, and you'll see it depicted in the film, on how nice the agents were, and they humored the hell out of me. They took me on as a favor to their current client at the time, Dino Mangiero, who was an awesome defensive tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs. He was an alumni of my high school. So that's how Coach Oliveri made that connection. And they humored me. They said there's no way in hell. And I find out afterwards, they told me that we just did it as a favor, but you shocked the heck out of us by what you pulled off. It was a miracle. Because again, I was 5 foot nothing and 100 and nothing. I pulled off pretty much of a miracle.
And, not only a miracle, but, once again, as you started your NFL career, when you look at it, you had all the reason in the world to stop. I mean, you come on, you're trying out for the Denver Broncos. You make it to the final cut. As close as you can get, and do not make the team. Then you get on the Giants squad, which wins the practice squad. They win the Super Bowl. I believe that had to be 91 because I believe that Super Bowl was here in Tampa Bay, if I'm correct, where Norwood missed the kick. And then
I was with the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, the Buffalo Bills, right.
It was the Buffalo Bills.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say the Giants? I'm sorry. But they played the Giants,
yeah.
Right? And then the next year you cut, I believe, again on the last cut. And then, of course, you end up in Tampa Bay. And, did you ever think before coming over to Tampa Bay or to LA, where you started really making yourself known in LA, that it might have been time to hang it up?
Well, what was crazy was that my whole career was, I pretty much lived paycheck to paycheck because I was sending all my money home. I only kept enough to pay my rent and have some food. And other than that, I was sending all my money home. And at that time, we didn't make a whole, but it was enough. But we weren't making the money that they're making now. I mean, a practice squad player now is making $500,000. Heck, we only made $5,500 a game when I played back in the 90s. So all my money went back to take care of the house and my family and everything. So I was living day by day, paycheck to paycheck for the most part. And I was living life or death. I would really get my teammates would be upset with me because I would go full speed all the time because I was afraid to get cut. If I got hurt, it's funny. I watch the sports now and I see how things are as far as the protocol, the concussion protocol. And the motto back when I played was you can't make the club in the tub. Okay. So you played hurt. I mean, that was just the way it was back then. Don't do it much these days, but back in my day, I couldn't afford to get hurt. I had a family to take care of. And when I got on the practice squad with the Buffalo Bills, went to the Super Bowl, we lost it. The following year, had a pretty good camp, and I was shocked that I got cut because I felt that I did well enough to stay. And then I said, oh my God, how am I going to pay the bills? That's the first thing that I said to myself. How am I going to keep the family together? I was still in desperation mode. And then the Rams picked me up for a couple of years and did well over there. Then they released me. Then the Detroit Lions picked me up. And I stayed there. And then they cut me toward the end of the season. And then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers picked me up. And that year, we weren't a very good team as far as records wise. We were competitive, but we just could not win games. But I tell you what, that was one of the most memorable. That was the second most memorable moments of my football life career. The first moment was when I made the practice squad with the Buffalo Bills and I was able to keep my family together. That was the most memorable moment of my career. And the second one was when I was gifted the opportunity to have the ball in my hand and go untouched into the end zone, 80 yards. And I'm going to be honest with you, any return man would have been able to return that ball that day. I mean, that's how great the blocks were. I'm just happy that I was the guy that had the ball in hand. That's all.
Well, Vernon, it wouldn't be a great show without having a little gift for you here that I want you to watch.
Hey, Larry, you're breaking up, bud.
Greg Montgomery, one of the best of the NFL, will punt. Turner is back. Good rush. Just gets it off at a beautiful high kick. Turner at his own 19. Crosses the 30. Still going. Turner's got some room. He's got one man to beat. No flags. Touchdown, Buccaneers. Vernon Turner and
Well, let me get everybody back up here. I turned everybody off here. Or on one. There's Vernon. All right. 2, 1. There you are. All right. Were you able to see what I put up on the screen there?
No, I caught the tail end. The video broke up, so it's okay.
Okay, it broke up on your side. It didn't break up on our side. So I want to just tell you, we did a replay of the touchdown that you scored for the Buccaneers, the first touchdown ever. And, you know, I had people on the comment section. Tell me if some of this stuff sounds familiar. Vernon the Burner Turner? I mean, they got all these nicknames, Jack, from you, the Tampa Bay fans on. They remember you and everything. And you talked about it, but how special is it you to know that you still are in the forever and ever and ever are enshrined in the record books of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? I know you run awards when you were with Detroit, you know, special teams player of the week and stuff like this. But how special, you know, you mentioned it, one of the best of your career moments, but just to know that you will always be in the record books of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Well, what's amazing is after all these years, 20 some odd years have passed, and on October 2nd, every year, I get tons of messages and the video clips on my social media and just people saying thank you. To say that I'm so honored, and you know, I'm really not worthy of that type of I don't know. I just don't. I can't even relate. I can't, because that, again, like I said, any return man could have and would have returned that ball that day, and I was at the right place at the right time. I really was, and I have a special place in my heart for the Tampa Bay Buccaneer fans. And I remember crossing the line, and I just stared in the stands. And before I went back to the sidelines, I just turned to the fans, and I was just thanking them and blowing them kisses, just to give them a love and appreciation for all the support, because they really did. I mean, every chance they saw me out in public, you know, they showed me love, and I can never forget that. You know, I'm not worthy of that. I'm not.
Now, how much, when something that great happens, Vernon, to anybody, but especially someone that's been through all the tribulations that you have been through to get to that moment, how many different things are rushing through your mind when such a great moment like that happens?
Well, to be honest with you, every time something well that I've done well, I look up in the sky and I just thank my mom and dad, you know. And then I think now I'm in this position now with my platform and the things that I've done. If I say to myself and to the kids, the young kids that I talk to, and I say, if I can pull that off, anybody can pull that off. But it's, you know, success is not supposed to be easy. If it were easy, everyone would be winners. It's supposed to be hard. And if anything came easy my way, I would get nervous. I'm just a worker. I don't know what quit means. I don't quit, you know. And that's what I'm raising my 6-year-old son, and I'm teaching him now never to quit. And I have a lot of tools in my toolbox that I'm trying to pass on to my boy. And I made a lot of mistakes in my life, but your mistakes, then you're not going to be defined by your mistakes. You're going to be defined on how you handle those mistakes. You know, that's what your character is going to be, how your character is going to be formed on, is how do you handle those mistakes? It's okay to make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. What's going to define you is how you handle those mistakes. So I'm hoping that I learned from everything that I've gone through, the things that I've done wrong. And I just want to pay it forward now. That's all I'm here for, is to pay it forward, you know?
You know, and when you look at your career in the NFL, Vernon, you had over 3,000 all-purpose return yards between being a punt returner and a kick returner. So a very, very special career as a, you know, special team specialist besides some other positions. But did you know in 1998, when you were done playing, were you comfortable saying, it's my time?
You know, what's funny was that I had an opportunity to still play and go back actually to the Detroit Lions. They offered me an opportunity to go back, and my family was secure. You know, I paid off the house and we were okay. And I was just mentally and physically battered. I was exhausted, and I just did not have it anymore to go and put that type of, I don't think people realize the mindset an athlete has to put themselves in, especially at that level, and especially a journeyman, a guy that could be cut at any time. So I was so mentally and physically drained. When I left the game, I left the game. Like, I did not have any regrets, and I did not watch sports for years. I didn't watch football for years. It took me a little while to get back into it because I was so mentally drained. I didn't enjoy my career. I didn't. It wasn't until I retired many years later and I realized what I actually did accomplish. I enjoy my career more now than I did when I was playing, because I was playing in desperation mode my whole career at the highest level. So I didn't really get a chance to enjoy my career up until, you know, the last 10, 15 years. I'm saying, wow, I did pull that off. That's pretty cool, you know, and it's something that I can pass on to these young athletes, you know, and say, hey, if I can pull it off, you guys can pull it off. You just got to put the work in. You got to put the work in, you know, so.
You know, let me ask you this. There's no better person than to ask this. I'm going to go ask you an NFL question, actually. And there's been talks over the last couple of years about taking the kickoff returns out of the game of football, which I don't like. But, you know, their philosophy and their saying is that a lot of people get hurt on kickoffs, a lot of penalties always on kickoffs. You, as being someone that returned kickoffs, return punts, would you say that is a bad move to remove that part of the game?
Well, you know, I come from a different era. You know, things have changed from the time that I played to the way things are now. So I respect that. I really do. I respect it, the fact that they're trying to safe up the game, and with the concussion protocols and all of that stuff. I get it. Me personally, you're removing a job from one of the players. You know, there are players out there that they specialize in kickoff return, or specialize on punt return, or specialize in both. I be honest with you, I did not do that. Wasn't my specialty. When I tried out for the National Football League, I returned one punt in college,
right,
and that was it. That was the first time I've ever done punt return. So I had to teach myself how to play the position. And kickoff returns, you know, you're better athletes. You put them back there and they return the kicks. But if you can do it well enough, it becomes a profession. So if they decide to take that out, that's just one less job that they removed. And I don't know, it's an excitement returning a kick or a punt.
Yep.
You got to have a few screws loose to do it. And I had a few screws loose, but I just don't think that's the way to go. I mean, I see what they're doing now, and they did safe it up to where if I tell you what, if they can implement what the XFL did, is if they want to safe it up to where they can't move until the guy catches the ball. So, and then the immediate line, offense and defense, they're 5 yards apart. So that impact is not there. It's like it used to be. If they can implement that, what the XFL did, they don't have to eliminate the kickoff return. They can just safe it up that much better, if that makes any sense.
Actually, it makes a lot of sense. And I agree with you 100%. Before I let you run, Vernon, let me ask you this. A lot of people I know are going to ask me about your book, where they can get a hold of the first book. I know you have a second book coming out. And just in general, if anybody's out there wants to know about your story, or maybe they're even going through, something similar in certain aspects of what you went through, what they can do to get some help, what can you tell them?
Larry, I try to make myself accessible through social media as much as I can, because anyone who would want to reach out or ask questions or whatever have you, I think it's an honor and a blessing that people think that much of me to want to hear from me. So if they do have questions in regards to my things that are parallel, that they're going through, that's parallel to what I went through, please reach out to me on social media, Facebook or Twitter or Instagram. In regards to my book, you can just go on my website, vernonturner.com, and you can order a copy of my self-published book. And they're making the adaptation of the film off of the book. So it's an amazing. It's still hard for me to believe that they're going to be making a film of my life. It's really hard, and it's scary. It really is scary. It's one thing to write about my life, pen to paper, but for it to be reincarnated and transformed into actual people portraying characters of people in your life and yourself, that's pretty scary, But again, it's not about me, and it's way above me. It's about getting my story out and helping as many people as I can before I leave this earth.
Well, Vernon, I really, really want to thank you so very, very much for giving us an opportunity to have you as a guest on Frankly Speaking Bucs tonight. It's been an honor, thrill. You're an incredible person with an incredible story, and I just want to thank you very much.
No, thank you, Larry. It's a blessing. And again, it's what an honor. It's to be remembered. I can't tell you how much it means to me. So thank you so much. God bless you.
Bless you too, and have a great night and be safe.
You too, buddy.
That was
Take
the
care.
great Vernon Turner. Everybody from here, the Buccaneer fans, we all remember him returning the first punt in Tampa Bay Buccaneer history for a touchdown. So just an incredible, incredible story. And I'll tell you what, if you did not get an opportunity to hear this great interview that we just did, shame on you. Shame on you, because you don't get to hear miraculous stories like this of somebody persevering and somebody just being able to show you, this is a winner. This is what a winner is defined of. Not everybody has to go through these obstacles necessarily, but for him to go through these obstacles and still come out on top and still realize the importance of getting that message out, I just can't say enough. Yes, everybody here remembers Vernon Turner as an unbelievable football player for the, whatever team he played for that you like, whether it was the Lions, the Rams, the Bills, the Buccaneers. But I also remember him as one hell of a human being. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back right after this break from our friends at Rent-A-King, 609 West Brandon Boulevard in Brandon, Florida. Rent King. There's a reason why King is in their name.
Welcome to Rent King Sales and Lease Purchase. Rent King has quickly grown to become Florida's most popular choice for new furniture, appliances, computers, game systems, and consumer electronics. Our locally owned and operated business offers a selection of more than 10,000 name brand products through our flexible lease ownership plan. There's never a credit check at Rent King. You get instant approval, free same-day delivery, free product repairs, and you can purchase your leased products at any time using our exclusive Try It and Buy It 90 days same as cash plan or our king size early purchase discount. You'll always receive the highest level of service, the largest selection of brand name products, and the guaranteed lowest prices in town at Rent King Sales and Lease Purchase.
All right, that's right. Our great sponsor, Rent King. For you folks out there that are looking for rental needs, appliances, bedding, you name it, they have it. Go to Rent King, 609 West Brandon Boulevard in Brandon, Florida. That's where I go. I love them. And like I said, the reason why King is their name is because they are the kings of all rental places. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us towards the conclusion of our show, where we get to talk about tomorrow's night's game between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and your Chicago Bears. And what a game, this should be. This is a team that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are better than. Offensively, they run circles around the Chicago Bears. Brady is hot. Brady is hot. Brady is hot. He's going to have Mike Evans. Right now, if we look at the injury report for the Buccaneers for tomorrow's game as of this evening, Chris Godwin, LaShawn McCoy, and Justin Watson are all out. Mike Evans and Scotty Miller are questionable. As far as I'm concerned, I think they both will play. And then Leonard Fournette is doubtful still with that ankle injury. So, last week we got to see Ronald Jones come out. He rushed for over 100 yards. And he didn't just rush for 100 yards. He powered his way for 100 yards. He was incredible. He was running hard. He was falling forward. He was doing the things that great running backs do. Yes, he missed a couple of balls out of the backfield. We know he's not perfect, but he still caught 6 passes out of the backfield for 17 yards, which was some big plays. So, give Ronald Jones credit as well where credit is due. The offensive line played terrific. Yes, Wirfs had a couple of penalties. He's a young kid. He's been playing well all year. The interior line, we don't worry about Jensen and those guys and Pet. And then you got, of course, Donovan Smith, who played an excellent game. We know our weapons. We're going to have Godwin tomorrow. We'll probably have Miller. Grayson's going to be out there a little bit. Remember, Keyshawn Vaughn is going to get time tomorrow. If you don't have McCoy and you don't have Fournette tomorrow, you're going to see a lot more of Vaughn. And I'm telling you, this kid is very, very special. We talked about it the other night on Monday night when Ricky Reynolds was on our show. We had the pleasure of having Ricky Reynolds. Well, let me tell you this. Keyshawn Vaughn rushed for over 1,000 yards both years in the SEC with Vanderbilt. Very special runner, can catch the ball out of the backfield, strong, hard running. You saw him score a touchdown. Looked like he fit in very, very well. Now, before we get to the defensive side of the football and why I think we'll win, I do want to let everybody know a quick update on the Tampa Bay Rays score. We are in the bottom of the 7th inning. Your Tampa Bay Rays are leading 8-2 over the Bronx Bombers. It looks like there are no outs with the bottom of the 7th just beginning. So, 9 more outs, and we will be up 2-1 in this best-of-5 series. So let's go Rays. But, both of these defenses, the Bears and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, are top 10 defenses in total yards and points allowed so far this year. That's the one thing Chicago does have. Everybody knows they got Khalil Mack. He has I think almost 2 sacks, a sack and a half this year. They have a Raquan Smith who has leading the team with 33 tackles. So, they also got Kyle Fuller, who probably will go one-on-one with Michael Evans tomorrow night. And, he's going to be trying to look for a pick six, definitely out there tomorrow night. But the Buccaneers showed they have a defense too. Todd Bowles is just magnificent in the different numbers of blitz packages he is calling. Every single guy is blitzing on this team. Every single guy is blitzing on this team. And, sometimes you're going to get beat. But the one thing that the Bears don't have that the San Diego Chargers did have is a potent offense. They only scored 11 points last week in their loss. So I don't remember exactly. I think they played the Colts. I think they lost 19-11. And, Nick Foles is taking over for Travinsky. He is not doing a very good job. Nick Foles, known to be a terrific backup, has not had that much success. I said that much as a starter. And I think with this defense tomorrow night, you're going to see a lot of pressure put on Foles. And this could be an ugly game for the Chicago Bears. Don't be surprised if you see your Tampa Bay Buccaneers with 3 or 4 turnovers tomorrow night. And hopefully, we turn them into points, at least half of those turnovers into points on the board. But, this Bears team is 3-1. And it's, at the end of the day, you're 3-1, you're 3-1. There's no such thing as a good 3-1 and a bad 3-1. On the standings, it says 3-1. But I will tell you, they are not as good as their record. I'm just telling you from watching them play. They came back in, I believe, the one game versus Atlanta. They were down 28-3, and Atlanta came back, ended up winning that ball game. And that just shows you some of the weakness on this team with the Chicago Bears. They cannot play a full, a full game. It just seems like they cannot play a full 60 minutes of football. And at the end of the day, that's going to fall into the Buccaneers' favor. I think the key tomorrow is going to be Ronald Jones having another big game, another big night in Soldier Field, the home of some of the greatest running backs. Everybody knows Sweetness, Walter Payton, of course, being there. They got a history, that place, of terrific running back. Well, this is Ronald Jones' night to shine on primetime TV. Brady's, primetime's nothing for Brady. It's just another game for Tom Brady. But this team and this defense, our top 7, our front 7 is playing terrific. The question's going to be, Carlton Davis out there bunting out there, seeing how these guys do. Whitehead's playing well. Winfield's playing well. I mean, this is a team that is starting to gel at the right time. There's no more BS about we're getting used to playing with each other. Now you are there. This is the meat, baby. This is the second quarter of the season starting tomorrow, and I think it's going to be a pretty easy outcome. I believe the game could end up being a final of 24-7, the Buccaneers over the Chicago Bears. We want to thank our special guest tonight. We want to thank Vernon Turner for joining us tonight. Just an incredible story. For those of you that watched it, that have friends, you definitely want to go ahead and share that. What a remarkable, incredible story, the Vernon Turner story. He has books. He's going to have a movie out. Just incredible. We also wanted to thank our sponsor, Rent King at 609 West Brandon Boulevard here in Brandon, Florida, for being our sponsor for all your rental needs. Go to Rent King in Brandon, Florida. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been my pleasure to be your host tonight on Frankly Speaking Bucs. For all of you, have a great day, a great night, and we'll see you next Wednesday on crewforlife.com right here. So good night.